Okay, welcome back to Tac Tac Toys with Film, and I've been promising this video for a while. Here it is. I had to have a listen to it to film it for you. It's my interview with Jada Toys from MCM Comic Con London. Now, things didn't go to plan. My microphones unfortunately didn't work very well, so you could barely hear any sound. This video is not for kids, so what I'm going to have to do is a voiceover, so apologies in advance. If this isn't for you, feel free to switch off now. But basically, here's me talking to Ben from Jada Toys. So they were at MCM Comic Con, which has been and gone, as we well know. I did have quite a lot of questions for them. I'm going to go through all those, the questions that I sort of had. But it didn't go to plan, unfortunately, and I'll explain why. So, for some reason, when Jada Toys came to MCM Comic Con London, they kind of had more of a presence in relation to die-cast cars than action figures. They had their Universal Monsters there, but they didn't really have much in the way of Street Fighter, which was a real shame because, you know, that would have made a great presence there. The Street Fighter line figures are so popular. As Ben himself here from Jada Toys actually said, he said they're probably the most successful line. But yeah, I mean, my questions were along the lines of how they were finding the first MCM Comic Con, and like that they were initially known for die-cast cars. How was Jada finding the transition into the 6-inch action figure market? Talking about Street Fighter 2, of course. What can we expect going forward? Talking about the Mega Man license, and I wanted to find out about. I did manage to ask some of these questions, but I did want to find out about, you know, other Capcom licenses such as Final Fight, Darkstalkers, Ghouls and Ghosts, Captain Commando, Resident Evil, any of these properties. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to ask about the sort of Cyberpunk property, and then yeah. That's kind of the questions I wanted to ask. Where I'm pointing there, that's kind of where the figures were based in their booth. They sort of suggested we do it in front of the Jurassic Park Jeep here, which we did do the interview in front of here. But again, the sound was, I don't know if it was my microphones not picking up the speaking, or perhaps the background noise, but it just didn't really translate very well over. So I've kind of doing a voiceover, as I say, for this video. I did try and ask Ben a few times about upcoming Capcom properties. He couldn't really give much away, but yeah, he kind of explained that Jada have been selling their products in the UK for a few years. They talked about how Jada are finding Street Fighter 2 the most successful line compared to Universal Monsters. As I say, I tried to ask about Darkstalkers and Resident Evil, but he kind of hinted that they will be looking at more Capcom properties, and they will have other properties under their sleeve, but he couldn't give anything away, so just to stay tuned. He kind of talked, as I say, a lot about die-cast cars, and I kind of wanted to steer the conversation in the direction of larger vehicles, obviously in 1/12 scale. In particular, like possibly the bonus stage at Street Fighter 2. Tom from Mini Plastic Multiverse, he sort of suggested, you know, with the car that could become battle damaged in the Street Fighter 2 sort of bonus stage. So I kind of wanted to ask Ben about that. So again, they said they're open to it. They're open to the idea of sort of making 1/12 scale vehicles, but they need to test the market more. So yeah, as I say, what was a bit of a shame for a missed opportunity for Jada here was that they had a large presence with their die-cast cars. They had a large presence with their Universal Monsters, but they didn't bring any of their Street Fighter 2 figures, any of the Cyberpunk figures or the Mega Man figures to MCM Comic Con, and it was a real shame, really, because, you know, like there was a lot of people who came for, you know, 6-inch action figures and wanted to. I know Jay's Toy Collection UK, like me, was hoping to interview them in regards to Street Fighter 2 figures. Same with Dan, who reviews. We're hoping to discuss the 6-inch action figures with them, and they weren't there. So hopefully in the next MCM, you know, we all three of us, myself, Dan, and Jay, did speak to the Jada representatives here, and we did sort of suggest that they do bring these figures in the future. So, you know, hopefully they will do that. But yeah, this is kind of what my interview was like. It was a bit difficult. I couldn't really ask the questions I wanted to, again, because they hadn't got a lot of things on show here that I'd planned the questions around. So here's me looking at the Jurassic Park Jeep, as you can see here, which we filmed in front of. And by this point, I think I'd just given up with the microphones because I knew they weren't working. I just kind of like was nodding, you know, and listening to what Ben had to say. But I mean, I can try and put the audio up on here for you on a video, but I'll be honest with you, the audio is terrible, so it's not worth listening to. It's probably better with me to do you know, a voiceover like this. It's taught me I need to invest in a better microphone. I might speak to Dan, who he's got excellent equipment. He might be able to advise me on a good microphone to use for future interviews, because, you know, the aim of the game eventually is to get an interview with Hasbro, ideally, but Hasbro guys. But yeah, it was a good first interview for me, you know, for interviewing experience. Speaking to Jada Toys, I had a lot of fun doing it. As I say, they couldn't really answer a lot of my questions that I had planned. I had to kind of think of questions on the fly. And again, they wanted to talk a lot more about die-cast, or their UK representatives here had a lot kind of to discuss about die-cast figures, whereas, like I say, I was hoping to discuss Street Fighter, Mega Man, you know, the kind of 6-inch action figure lines. I mean, I'm sure in Comic Cons going forward, between now and the next MCM London in October, we'll have seen more from Jada Toys. You know, we'll have definitely seen the other Street Fighter figures. We'll probably have them, and we'll have had them in hand most likely. So Bison, Ken and Dalsim will have likely had those in hand by the time MCM Comic Con October 2024 rolls round. And like I say, I'm hoping that Jada Toys took from this experience that they do need to bring their figures to, you know, the next MCM Comic Con to have kind of a more stronger sort of presence there. I mean, the good thing is it's nice to have another company sort of there, you know, as a presence. We've had Hasbro for a couple of years at MCM Comic Con, and they're really developing their presence there now. You know, you get still the reveals there, as you'll have seen in my video, in Jay's video, in Dan's video, you know, so all the reveals. And it'd be nice if we got more companies there, like Mattel, NECA, maybe some of the other companies coming to MCM. I might be logistically quite difficult for them if they're sort of smaller toy companies, say Super 7, things like that. Might be a bit more difficult, but Jada have managed it. I'm just hoping that obviously Jada, like I say, will bring more 6-inch action figures to future MCMs. But yeah, essentially, you know, Ben was saying stuff like their Fast and Furious die-cast cars do very well, so they were kind of like very pleased with that and looking into it. And again, when they did talk about die-cast figures, I did try and steer it into talking about dioramas and vehicles in 1/12 scale, because obviously the next sort of step that we'd like with the Street Fighter 2 line would be the bonus the stages. You know, they'd be great. I mean, obviously they're in the packaging and the cardboard backs in the packaging, but maybe that's a conversation more for June from Jada Toys rather than the UK representatives here. But yeah, I mean, like I said, they did have the Universal Monsters there. Ben did sort of say to me they were kind of curious why the Universal Monster line weren't selling as well as Street Fighter, but obviously Street Fighter line is kind of slightly more advanced and probably more popular, arguably. But that's my interview. As you can see, I'm about to shake hands with him in a minute. Yeah, there we go, and finish the interview. But yeah, hopefully in 2024 I'll have an interview you can listen to the sound of. And apologies, you know, overall, but I tried my best with this video. If you did enjoy it, smash the like button, feel free to comment and subscribe. And places you can pick up Jada Toys, of course, are Comics and Cocktails, and of course you can also pick them up at Kapow Toys, and Star Action Figures, of course, are selling them. I've picked up my Street Fighter 2 Ryu and Street Fighter 2 Fei Long from Props and Replicas, actually, but Star Action Figures do stock them. You've got In Demand Toys, of course, for all your action figure pre-orders and purchases. Like I say, I got my first two from Props and Replicas, Fei Long and Ryu. Got Chun-Li on the way, and you can check out Gobsmack Comics. And why not check out Invincible Toys and their futuristic combat soldiers? And I'll put a link for that for Big Bad Toy Store in the comments below, and you can check out the whole shebang and feel free to check out all the cool stuff. And of course, if you want some YouTube content, you can check out Dan Who Reviews with all his Marvel Legends sort of discussion and live streams every week with co-host Rich M. You can of course check out Turtles and Tea with Tanner. Fortunately, Tanner wasn't there with us for MCM, but hopefully he'll be there for MCM 2024. And Joe's and Juice with Dan, Mini Plastic Multiverse, and myself, talking all the latest G.I. Joe classified reveals, Valorverse, Action Force, Operation Monster Force, and more. And for action figure reviews in the UK, and you can check out his Hasbro interviews, you can check out Jay's Toy Collection UK. Feel free to check out Miguel and the Wolfpack Toy Review. And you can, of course, and he's done some sort of, you know, G.I. Joe classified reviews in the California area, and he does toy hunts regularly, so you can check out all his videos on YouTube. Yeah, where he does all sorts of different content, and you can check out Agent Z-Man, and feel free to check out for action figure reviews in Ireland. You can, of course, check out Brian's action figure reviews, And feel free to check out Trevor the 1/6 Shooter for all things Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions and more. And you can check out Austin the Hero of Collectors, and feel free to check out Dante and the Infinity Equation. And as I say, I'll put a link for all these YouTube channels in the comments below, and you can check out Big Will, Pixels and Plastic, and feel free to check out Why So Serious Toys. And you can of course feel free to check out Cypher Sigma, who does action figure sort of pickups, or yeah, action figure pickups and film reviews. And you can check out Elson Official Music, and feel free to check out Photo Dave and Toy Picks, who gives us loads of toy tips and tricks on toy photography. And you can feel free of course to check out as well Adam Crone at AC Toy Design, so all his custom action figures. Yeah, his YouTube channel. If you really like his stuff, you can go and support him on Patreon. And of course you can finally check out the 3POA podcast. Yeah, if you like films, you can check out Film and TV Review, both their website and YouTube channel. So feel free to check out any of those YouTube channels I've mentioned in the comments below. So yeah, that's my interview with Jada Toys. Apologies again, I couldn't get the sound right, so I had to improvise and sort of, you know, make the best of it with what I could. But until next time, enjoy those flicks and figs.